20 weird facts about Forrest Gump you didn't know. Before we begin, understand this. Forrest Gump is not about intelligence. It's about movement, about what happens when a man keeps going while the world keeps changing around him. This is a story about innocence surviving chaos and how history looks when you don't try to conquer it. Let's begin. Fact 1. Forrest Gump was never meant to be a feel-good film. Today, Forrest Gump is remembered as warm, nostalgic, even comforting. It wasn't designed that way. Director Robert Zemeckis wanted the film to feel melancholy, not triumphant. The humor was meant to soften pain, not erase it. Underneath every joke is loss, confusion, or absence. Forrest doesn't win at life. He moves through it. Friends disappear. Love remains distant. Time keeps advancing without permission. The film doesn't reassure you that things turn out fine. It quietly asks whether meaning comes from control or simply continuing forward. Fact 2. Tom Hanks built Forrest from restraint, not performance. Tom Hanks didn't want Forrest to feel like a character. He wanted him to feel like a presence. Instead of exaggeration, Hanks removed things. No irony, no self-awareness, no attempt to be clever. Forrest never comments on the absurdity of his life. He accepts it. Hanks said Forrest doesn't understand history. He experiences it. That distinction shaped everything. Posture, speech, eye movement. The performance works because Forrest never asks for sympathy. He just sits there and waits. Fact 3. The bench is the film's emotional anchor. Almost the entire film is told from a park bench. That wasn't a framing gimmick. It was a philosophical choice. The bench represents pause, the rare moments when life stops moving fast enough to be told. Forrest doesn't lecture, he doesn't teach, he shares. Strangers listen, some leave, some stay. Just like life. The bench scenes remind us that stories don't need importance to matter, they just need to be heard. Fact 4. The film uses history as background, not achievement. Forrest meets presidents, influences pop culture, stumbles into historic events, but the film refuses to celebrate this. History happens behind Forrest, not because of him. He doesn't seek power, he doesn't seek recognition, he doesn't even realize what he's part of. That's the point. The movie reframes American history not as destiny, but as coincidence, chance, and momentum. Forrest survives history. He doesn't master it. Fact 5. Run, Forrest, Run is about escape, not triumph. The famous running scenes are often misunderstood. They aren't about athletic success. They're about leaving pain behind. Forrest runs when he doesn't know what else to do. He runs from bullies, he runs from grief, he runs from confusion. The movement isn't victory, it's coping. And sometimes coping looks like motion without direction. Fact 6. Jenny is the film's true tragedy, not Forrest. Many viewers misunderstand Jenny. They see her as irresponsible, unstable, cruel. But Jenny is the film's emotional core and its darkest truth. Where Forrest is protected by innocence, Jenny is exposed to reality. Abuse, exploitation, addiction, disillusionment. Every era that brushes past Forrest wounds her. She tries to escape pain through rebellion, through movements, through love. Nothing holds. The film doesn't punish Jenny. It mourns her. She represents what happens when the world is not gentle and no one tells you how to survive it. Fact 8. Forrest's success is never treated as deserved or earned. Forrest becomes rich, famous, decorated, but the film never frames this as achievement. There's no pride, no ambition fulfilled, no "I made it" moment. Forrest doesn't climb society, he drifts into it. The movie quietly critiques the American dream by showing success without intent and suffering with intent. Jenny wants meaning and gets pain. Forrest wants nothing and gets everything. That imbalance is unsettling and deliberate. Fact 9. The film's humor is a mask for absence. Forrest Gump is often remembered as funny, but the laughter always arrives beside loss. A joke after trauma, a smile during grief, a coincidence hiding emptiness. The humor isn't relief, it's buffering. It keeps the film from breaking under its own sadness. It gives the audience permission to keep watching, even as the story quietly takes things away. People leave Forrest's life, constantly. The jokes soften the sound of doors closing. Fact 10. The feather is not about fate, it's about drift. The feather at the beginning and end is often described as destiny, but look closer. It doesn't fall with purpose. It moves because the air moves. It lands where chance allows. That's Forrest. He isn't guided by fate, he's carried by momentum. The feather doesn't promise meaning, it accepts uncertainty, and that acceptance is the film's quiet philosophy. Fact 11. Forrest's innocence functions as armor, not ignorance. Forrest isn't aware of pain, he simply doesn't interpret it the way others do. He understands loss, he understands fear, he understands loneliness. What he doesn't do is intellectualize them. That's his protection. While others explain themselves into despair, Forrest accepts events as they arrive. This isn't stupidity, it's emotional economy. The film suggests something uncomfortable. Sometimes awareness doesn't make you wiser. Sometimes it just makes things heavier.
Fact 12. Intelligence is never linked to moral worth. The film quietly dismantles a dangerous assumption that intelligence equals value. Forrest is underestimated at every stage of life, yet he consistently shows loyalty, courage, and consistency. Meanwhile, smarter characters often struggle with meaning, ethics, or stability. The film never claims Forrest is better. It claims something more radical. Worth isn't measured by comprehension. It's measured by how you treat people while you're here. Fact 13. Running becomes Forrest's language when words fail. Forrest runs when language stops working, when grief overwhelms him, when confusion piles up, when loss can't be processed. Running is his form of expression, not escape, not ambition, release. He doesn't run toward anything, he runs through what he can't say. And when he stops, it's not because he's finished healing, it's because the movement has carried him as far as it can. Fact 14. Forrest's relationship with Jenny is about waiting, not possession. Forrest never tries to claim Jenny. He doesn't entrap her. He doesn't lecture her. He doesn't demand change. He waits. This isn't romantic idealism. It's respect. He allows her to live her life even when it hurts him, because love, to Forrest, isn't ownership. It's presence without control. That kind of love isn't celebrated loudly. It's endured quietly. Fact 15. The film treats time as something that passes through us. Forrest doesn't chase time. He doesn't fight aging. He doesn't resist change. Years move forward whether he understands them or not. The film doesn't frame time as enemy or ally. It's simply motion. People come, people leave. Moments fade. Forrest doesn't try to stop any of it. He keeps going. Fact 16. The ending is gentle because the pain has already happened. Many people remember the ending as comforting. It isn't. By the time the film reaches its final moments, almost everything Forrest loved has already been taken from him. Friends, certainty, youth, and finally Jenny. The calm tone isn't happiness, it's emotional exhaustion. The film doesn't end with loss, it ends after loss, when grief has settled into something quieter, heavier, and permanent. Peace doesn't mean things are okay. It means Forrest has stopped resisting what cannot be changed. Fact 18. Forrest learns the meaning of love too late, and that's the point. For most of the film, Forrest loves instinctively. He doesn't analyze it. He doesn't define it. Only at the end does he ask the question that's been waiting the entire time. Is he smart, or is he like me? That moment isn't about intelligence. It's about fear. For the first time, Forrest understands what it means to worry about the future, and he understands it only because love has finally made him vulnerable. The film doesn't give him time to grow into this awareness. It lets him feel it, and then asks him to carry it. Fact 19. The film divides audiences because it refuses cynicism. Some viewers see Forrest Gump as naive. Others see it as profound. That division exists because the film refuses cynicism, and modern audiences are trained to expect it. The movie doesn't reward cleverness. It doesn't celebrate irony. It doesn't punish sincerity. Forrest isn't special because he's pure. He's special because he doesn't harden, even when life gives him every reason to. That makes some people uncomfortable because it suggests survival doesn't require bitterness. Fact 19. Memory is the film's true subject. The film isn't really about Forrest's life. It's about remembering it. Everything we see is filtered through recollection, stories told to strangers, moments replayed quietly, events remembered without judgment. Memory in Forrest Gump isn't accurate. It's faithful. Faithful to how things felt, not how they looked. That's why the film feels dreamlike, history softened by distance, pain blurred by time. The movie isn't asking if the past was good, it's asking how we live with it once it's gone. The final truth. Forrest Gump is about continuing without understanding. This is the most important fact of all. Forrest Gump doesn't teach you how to succeed. It doesn't teach you how to think. It doesn't teach you how to control your life. It teaches you to continue. When answers don't come, when people leave, when meaning doesn't announce itself. Forrest doesn't solve life. He lives it, step by step, moment by moment, without demanding clarity. And somehow, that's enough. Forrest Gump isn't a story about being special. It's a story about staying open in a world that keeps closing doors, about loving without guarantees, about moving forward without maps, about letting life pass through you without becoming cruel. If this documentary made you see Forrest Gump differently, if it made innocence feel heavier than weakness, if it stayed with you longer than expected, subscribe now for more deep-dive film documentaries that explore the quiet truths hidden inside famous stories. Because the most powerful films don't explain life. They sit beside you and let you keep going.